I feel like we need to understand something very clear. A true revolutionary loves his people more than he hates his oppressor. And that's why it's so difficult to be a revolutionary.
Tampa J in this bitch. Yeah. The boys in this bitch. 3RT, EYE. Real hip hop motherfuckers. Yo Jay, you did some wicked producing, Playboy. Yeah, check it. I was told if you desire peace, homie, prepare for war. This is the revolution, the elders left me to carry on. They shed blood and lost it all. They were brutally double-crossed and gladly died for a cause like Christ did on a cross. Now we ride to the point of nuclear apocalypse with psychological warfare controlling your politics. And every politician's a Christian, financially driven. They destroyed our economy, then blame the Muslim religion. Weapons of mass destruction, our minds with great powers, trading weapons with terrorists during the Iran-Contra. Every move they made was for their benefit, not ever ours. That's the reason these motherfuckers destroyed the Twin Towers. Now we finally see the true power of a dollar. Homes being blown to nothing by these militant cowards. Iraq torn to pieces by corruption and power. This is for the Muslims who spend their days praying to Allah. Light, praying to Allah. Light.
This isn't about Jews or Muslims or Christians. This is a land issue. Northern Ireland is not about Catholics and Protestants. It's about the motherfucking land that you people decided to steal and keep as your own. Don't let them confuse you with the issues. Put hatred for other people in your fucking heart. You do a disservice to your own people because they're making you choose their agenda. Remember, George Bush made gay marriage an issue in the 2004 election. No one was talking about it before. Why? Because he didn't want to talk about how the economy was going down the toilet. Didn't want to talk about immigration. Didn't want to talk about nothing else. And didn't want to talk about 9/11, motherfucker. So don't forget that. Don't you ever forget that.
Blog.
Hey, Poe, how you doing, sweetie?
Peace
Hi,
and blessings, family.
Hi.
Yes.
What's going on?
We're talking about the Willie Lynch.
True indeed.
This is
True
your
indeed.
stuff right here.
Yeah, you know, it was a doctrine which unfortunately can't be proven or disproven.
Right.
But it's obviously very evident that the doctrine which has been put forth is in effect. The physical chains were obviously taken off us, and we were given a false reality of freedom. And as in the chat room, we've now got mental chains on us. The division is, I believe, a lot more clearer and a lot more sort of prevalent these days than it was back when we was quote unquote out of the slavery sort of period. Because as I say, you've got the mass media now. A lot of people rely on television to understand what's going on in the world. And when you turn the television on, what do we see? We see, generally, we'll see a female up there, and if she's melanated, if she's black, she will be of light-skinned hue.
Yeah.
And she will have long weave hair. She won't have it natural. You know, we don't see the India Iries and, you know, the Lauryn Hills. We don't see that anymore. That's not being promoted because they want us to all look towards the opposite. You know, not love ourselves, towards, you know, everyone knows how the game is. Everyone knows what's being done. But subconsciously, we know. Consciously, we know. But it's about making that decision. When am I going to start taking responsibility and accountability for my actions and for my decisions? And when we can be comfortable within ourselves to say that and to do that, not just to talk about it, then I believe we can break the spell, most definitely.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Poe. Do you think that the letter was legitimate, or do you think that it was just something that somebody made up? Or do you think that it even matters?
At this point, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. As I said, it's obvious that it is it's in effect at the moment. It's not. We can't speculate about whether it is an actual, whether an actual person wrote it or not. All we can say is based upon that letter and what we can see throughout our span, as I say, in that little hiccup we sort of period. We can say, okay, yeah, we can see the effects of that letter. As I say, I've done a bit of research on it, and I can't say, conclusively that this, is an actual factual document. There is information relating to this William Lynch, and there's also aliases relating to the William Lynch, but it's something again we gotta look at now. We understand it happening.
Oh, I was going to say, you said it's still in effect. Did I hear that correctly? That you said it's still in effect?
Most definitely.
But is it in effect because we impose it on ourselves, or is it in effect because of this letter?
It's self-perpetuating, I believe. It's self-perpetuating because when we go back to we want good hair, my good hair. What hair? Good hair is quote unquote long straight hair. I don't consider that to be good hair. That's not a hair that we have naturally. Mm-hmm. In some parts of the motherland, we do have a lot straighter hair, but all our hair has a kink to it. So why do we have to say, So again, it's subconsciously, it's something that's been brought on. We've embraced it. We've more than embraced it because it's been rammed down our throats for hundreds of years. But certain people are waking up. We're having this conversation now to get the neutrons firing up, to get the information out there, to look at different points of view, so we can, as I say, to break those chains and to dispel those spells.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Because I think I'd seen his name somewhere else on something. That guy that was speaking in the House of Delegates, that Hinty Berry. One thing he did say is that we have, as far as possible, closed every avenue by which light may enter into the minds of the slaves. If we could extinguish the capacity to see the light, our work would be complete. They then would be on the level with beasts of the field, and we would be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And I think to close the light, to stop information from getting, has been, going on down through the years. There's areas that other races may have information on that black people don't have a clue about.
Right.
Because there's strictures of a thorough knowledge of self. That you ask 60% of so-called black people, and they'll say, where's your lineage? Where do you come from? And they will say, they'll either say I'm African American, which is an oxymoron in itself, or they'll say, oh, I'm black, or I'm a Negro. They won't say, I'm an original person of this earth. I identify with Africa, but I reside in America, or I reside in Germany, or wherever you may reside. It's real deep at the core. It's real.
Yeah, and so they're looking at what we're doing to ourselves and how we're treating each other. And
exactly.
But how do we stop it, though, Poe? Like, where does it end?
It ends with, as I've always said, with a thorough understanding of self, getting to know self first. Once you understand who you are, where you are, where you're potentially going to go, that's your foundation. From that point, you can then take that broad step upon life and, start to navigate yourself through this world. That's my real sort of solution to the issue, and to talk about it, and to not only to talk about it, but to, as I say, to actually to do, the true history in regards to slavery and slavery, as I call it, and
what do you call it?
Slavery from the Germanic text, but the actual original people themselves were Slovenian.
Blonde, blue-eyed.
Yeah. So those were dubbed because they were in servitude and they were from Slovenia. They were called Slavs, and those were slaves. So the last people to be in that was us, and they called it slavery. Well, I don't call it slavery, I have to say.
You know, the part that got to me, and I don't know if that's what you were going to say, Crystal, the part that really just, I just thought, like, man, that's so messed up, how they break the man down, and you know, they do it in front of the wife, and so that when she gets pregnant with her son, she can teach her son to already be a certain way for them.
Right.
Oh, my God, I just thought this.
Stays within your memory. That kind of stays within your DNA. So we're born, and we've got those internal memories from our ancestors. So they knew exactly what they were doing. It was a very skilled and calculated plan.
And it also goes to say that you put the fear of God in them. But you don't kill them, but the fear of God is the white person. Because that's what it's showing that they were doing. They were flogging, they were beating them, they were stoning them in front of these women and babies, but they didn't kill them. They just tortured them and bred down the line.
All the time when it comes to that.
See, the problem is that they're not black men, are they? They're boys. That behavior is carried out by boys, not men. So you know, I can't blame the women, but again, sometimes women do need to look at the character of the so-called man that they're going to lay down with, procreate with.
No, you have a point there, because I look back and think, dang, why? What was it?
Tell me who's going to be there.
Hey, how do y'all feel about like a Caucasoid woman raising a black child?
You know what? I will say that.
Her baby.
I think that.
You mean kind of like the
I
example
didn't
of
understand Poe's question.
He said
a white lady, a white person raising a black child.
And I said, like Sandra Bullock has just adopted a little black boy.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them doing that.
So
that's a fashion statement now.
Right, it is a fashion statement, and I've joked about that. Like everybody in Hollywood is getting a little African or a black child to raise. But if you're going to do it out of the kindness of your heart because you're taking care of a child from a different country who is less privileged than you are, and you can give them something. But this is I don't have a problem with it to that extent, but if you also have to be able to give them their culture.
Thank you.
If you don't know how to comb their hair or teach them about their culture, you need to take them to somebody that does.
Yep.
And that's the point I always make. If you're going to get into that, know what you're getting into. If I'm going to raise a Caucasian girl or boy, guess what? I'm going to learn the stuff because I'm not them. No matter how much I love them, but I'm not them. We're still different. We do things differently. So, yes, it's very important that you still teach them who they are. If you can do that, I'm cool with you. But if you can't, you need to put the child with somebody who's right.
For God's sake, if you can't do their hair, take them to a hairdresser.
Thank you. Oh, I hate that. Hair all over their dang head, walking them around.
Right. And natural hair is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Natural hair is beautiful. But please, you know what I noticed?
It's beautiful when it's combed. I don't care what kind of hair you got. You can have straight hair, nappy hair, curly,
and honestly, they don't get it. Sometimes they don't understand. They think that we're always making it a race thing, and that we just don't get it.
Right.
You know, we just want to make everything about race, and so we just left it as SWG, stupid white girl.
Because we're supposed to love everyone.
That's
what it is. We're supposed to love everyone, and we're supposed to sort of disregard what any atrocities or any sort of bad situations that we're in.
Based on thank you, Poe. I want to thank you first and foremost for being on the show and for bringing this to our attention. Although I might get fired tomorrow. Everybody, talk to you later.